Hey, it's Todd Ault, and welcome back to Risk On. It's February 18th. This is the 13th episode of what could be the greatest show ever about risk. Now, that's a forward-looking statement, if I've ever heard one, Jason. Crazy day today. Hey, Jason, I bought a little RIOT down $15 today, but Bitcoin was still 52,000. What's the story there?
You see that divergence with a lot of the crypto tickers today, almost all of them except for, I think, EBANG. I look at, Brett, we have RIOT here, right here. Let's pull it up on the screen real quick, and we'll get to the introduction in just a second.
You almost had to take a profit today. If you were long RIOT and you didn't take a profit, you may be an idiot.
Yeah. So, wow. So, yeah, lots of cheapies today. Everything was on sale today. So I'm glad to hear that you got a piece of that.
Well, I bought it in the hole. I've traded it a few times. I just thought, you know what? Bitcoin's still going to continue to be strong. Buy RIOT on a pullback. And I did get some intraday lift. I actually traded it a little bit. I see it at 62.80 in the aftermarket. At any given time, that's going to be up or down a ton of points. Hey, it's Todd Ault, obviously. I apologize for those new viewers. I'm executive chairman of Ault Global on the New York American. This is my partner in crime, Jason Bartholomew, trader, professional poker player, former major leaguer in the minor leagues, but did get paid to throw the ball, the white pearl. Jason and I trade stocks together. We share ideas. Jason is a quasi-crypto expert and all-around a nice guy. What's up, Jason?
You're too nice, man. I appreciate it. All right, So back to the ticker at hand. So we were talking about RIOT. You obviously got a nice pickup on that. There was a couple of other crypto tickers that were on sale, Mara included, and I just wanted to look at one other crypto ticker that had a huge sell-off. I didn't buy, but NXT here, 30% down. That's another cheapy opportunity for you guys and girls that were looking to pick up some of the crypto tickers. So just wanted to bring that one to your attention. Other than that, it looked like Ethereum was the strong digital crypto of the day, 1,942. Let's go through the indicators here.
Yeah. Hey, let's go right to it, by the way. Ethereum is 1944 and Bitcoin over 52,000 still. I think the world's getting used to I think Bitcoin is the story of the day, continues to be holding at 52,000 with Ethereum in 1944. And Jason, let me tell you, I have a banker with me right now who I've known for a long time. He's visiting me in New York, and he was telling me a story last night about Bitcoin and its uses, and I'm hoping he's going to come on the show today and tell everybody, all of our viewers. He's laughing in the background, but really important information about how Bitcoin is being used in other countries. What do you say, Rich? You're going to do that for us? You won't come on camera? Oh, you need permission. Oh, yeah. He's a regulated broker and investment banker. But I will share the information later on in the show. Stand by. We're going to talk about Bitcoin in Iran and Venezuela and other countries and how it's being used. Really interesting topic. He shared with me last night at Nobu in New York. If anybody's been in New York, I love Nobu. If you want to invite me for some sushi, that's the place to go to.
All right, so let's get into the indicators here. The Dow Jones finished down 119 at 31,493. The NASDAQ was down 100, 13,865, and the S&P was down 17 at 39,14. We did touch on Bitcoin holding 52 strong, and Ethereum bounced up to 1,942. As Todd said, it's a little higher than that now. Light sweet crude WTI barrels still $60 a barrel. It was down $1.11 today. Gold was flat, $17.73. Silver was down slightly, $27.04 an ounce. So there you have it.
What, Jason? What did you trade today? I can tell you, I had an interesting day today in this QuantumScape. What were you trading today?
I actually added to my first Majestic Silver position. That's a long position that I've had for a couple of years. They should have earnings come out here in the next couple of hours. You know, when I do investing with a lot of these longs, I bet on the CEOs. And Keith Neumeyer is a great CEO. He's my second favorite CEO to you, Todd.
Oh, you're so kind. Hey, so I'll look at that in a second.
Yeah.
Richie. So today, I just want to be full disclosure. I did trade. I bought some QuantumScape QS ticker symbol at 62.05, and my highest sell today was 69.57, and I am flat on QuantumScape. But I identified ahead of time. I can't say those words right. I identified ahead of time why I was buying them. They reached my target, and I sold them. I am long RIDE, RIDE, which is the motors company, Lordstown Motors.
Mm-hmm.
I bought RIOT. I bought EH, the symbol EH, the drone Chinese company.
Yep.
I bought a little bit of GameStop. I bought PLTR, Palantir. I wanted, for full disclosure, I had sold that yesterday at 29 and bought it back today at 25. And then I bought a new stock, BTGN, which is Jefferies. It's a biotech. I'm not recommending it. By the way, this is for informational purposes only. Do your own research. Don't listen to us. We're pretty stupid. Just kidding. That was pretty much my day. RIOT, QuantumScape, RIDE. Any names you want to add to the list that you were trading, Jason?
I want to touch on the QS trade you had, Quantum. Brett, I just pulled it up on the screen there. So I got a little bit of information regarding that ticker. My
God, it's back down to 62.
Yeah.
Wow.
Did something happen? Did they do an offering? I don't think so. Anyway.
I heard there was a lawsuit, but I don't know anything about that.
Oh, yeah, I did see some quote-unquote ambulance chaser stuff come through the news aggregators. So QuantumScape is an EV battery company. Soros recently invested $280 million. Mr. George Soros, if you don't know who that is, that's a new stake. They have a solid-state lithium battery that actually is. They have a couple of other investors, Bill Gates and Volkswagen. Those are the three main.
Hey, could I go somewhere with the George Soros thing? I mean, Jason, I know you and him are buddies. Do you want to talk about? Just kidding. I'm totally joking around. Let's continue. Sorry about that.
So yeah, if you look, let's just look at the 6 month. Will get it done. This thing ran to 131 back in December, and actually, I spoke about it yesterday. It traded 54 to 66 range, but today, like you said, you took a piece of it, 25 billion market cap. So I like this company. I just wanted to touch on that one since how you actually traded that today.
It was a trade for me because I know some big names are piling into it. Soros and others are big investors.
Yeah.
And I saw it on weakness. It had high relative strength. I thought it would lift. It did. I got 7 points out of it. It reached my goal of making $7 grand on the trade. I wasn't big in the trade. As everyone who's followed me so far understands, I get big in when I file 13Ds. I'm small when I trade. I swing trade. I look for opportunities to take profits when I can put some risk on in the morning. But the big positions, of course, listen, some of the stocks I own, my portfolio I've owned for half a decade, right? But those names are not the normal names like that I'm trading, like something like the QuantumScape, where you can take, let me diverge a little bit. Happy birthday to you, Morgan. Happy birthday. I know you're 29 today. Really 39, but we won't tell anybody. But a big happy birthday to my friend Morgan. Anyways, I was talking to her about this, and she's like, well, how do you decide to trade this? And over time, you have to figure out what works for you and what kind of trader you are. I wouldn't consider myself a day trader at all. In fact, I'm anti-day trader. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't mean that I don't ever day trade, because I look at the position where it is at the time. And if it reaches my goal or what I want to do so short term and I can't put on more, sometimes I'll step away to re-enter unless I have a really long-term theme. Like in some cases, I own stocks that have a massive long-term theme. I had a long-term theme in Disney, 20 years ago. And some of these things I won't trade, intraday. Others I will. Jason, what about you? Are you long-term anything, or is everything for you a 1 minute visit?
No, I'm long-term. I trade long-term. I like to swing trade the precious metal stuff, especially, just because.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about all the silver you have, where you can't move the bars around. I'm saying, are there any equities in your account that you own, and how do you define long-term?
Yeah, Apple. I have Apple. I have a little bit of Walmart, but not a lot. I've had Amazon. I don't have it now. Yeah, there's a lot of blue chips that I've went long on.
I got to say to you, it felt like a negative day to me today. And I know that's, Captain Obvious, but it felt a little heavy to me. The NASDAQ opened kind of down. The NASDAQ was down 100. The Dow was down 119. The S&P was down. Did it not feel heavy to you?
Yeah, for sure. It was very heavy. The jobs numbers came in. Let me give you the jobs report. That came in at 8:30 Eastern time. That kind of set the tone for the market. Jobless claims were 861,000 versus 773,000 expected. That's a big miss. Usually,
that SunDial, man, boy, has that been clipped. Wow.
Yeah. Well, when you put a 1 billion shelf in place, that's a psychological enemy for all traders, investors. Like, what are they going to do with it? I mean, are they going to acquire a cannabis company in California? That's the rumor. That's just a rumor.
It took to these guys are taking to the woodshed, and I think the good. If you were going to find any good news about SunDial, it's down on 425 million shares of volume, and that's relative to the billion it was doing per day, right? So
yeah,
it's actually down on less volume. If you're going to find anything positive about that,
I just pulled it up, Brett. If you want to take a look at it, that's the intraday chart. Yeah, $1.44 after hours, trading about half of its normal volume.
Someone brought to my attention, and I think this is major news. I heard a little bit about this earlier today too. That Janet Yellen is pushing for a bigger stimulus package.
Bigger than 1.9. Bigger than 1.9T.
They want to put more money. They want to put more money in the economy, and I'm like, if you're expected to have 6% GDP growth, and you're going to pour 1.9 trillion in the economy and what's already flowing through, you're wow, dude. These are gargantuan numbers. What is it, Jason? What is it? What's it say?
They can't.
Does she want
15 million people behind on their.
Wow. Okay, yeah. So what's being reported is that 15 million people are behind on their rent. So she's thinking that they need a bigger stimulus package. Is that effectively what it says? These are gigantic numbers. You got a big divergence in the market. A really big, massive divergence in the market.
So the 1.9 trillion, they don't even allocate all of that properly, in my opinion. I've noticed the bill has allocations for like gender studies in Pakistan. It has this pork that's not even related to COVID relief. So I just think that
it's all pork.
Yeah, it's terrible. And with the pork, there's always situations where there could possibly be some nefarious stuff going on. I'm not saying there is regarding kickbacks to family members, to politicians. So I'm not saying that there is, but there could be. It's just tough to see our tax money being utilized that way. And when you have like Americans, you have like veterans in the streets that are homeless. And
Jason, gender studies in Pakistan is important for the future of the U.S. Come on, dude.
Yeah.
You've got to be supportive of all programs. You got to understand there's a bigger picture here. Studying stuff overseas makes sense.
Yeah.
Send the money somewhere else, and hopefully it trickles back to the U.S. Come on.
Oh, trickle across economics. Okay.
Yeah, get your priorities right, buddy.
Yeah, you're right. My bad. I should never have to question. We should just send all of our money across the world.
Any other stocks you want to cover? I want to get to the hearings today. I want to hear all the insight on the hearings. Vlad, Maxine Waters, Maxine.
Actually,
fixing up the stock market.
She read the questions well.
What?
She read the questions well that her staff, gave her.
I thought she did pretty well, actually. She, I wouldn't want to make her an enemy. She's a tough lady.
Let's talk about. I got a couple more I want to talk about here. We got to talk about POWW. Brett, I pulled it up on the screen. Pretty much down 2.5% today. Still no clarification on the shelf that they had filed, the S3. I'm long on the stock, 760.
That's going to take a week or so, or if the SEC clears them right away.
Yeah,
you're not going to hear about that for a little time, I think.
And a couple other ones I just wanted to talk about. I exited my position of WWR. Brett, I pulled that up. That's Westwater Resources. I actually sold that today. I took a 5% loss on that. I just got a little impatient. They don't really have any catalysts coming up, and it's a graphite company. They've got a lot of mining, prospecting, and exploration ahead of them, but I thought it would get a bigger pop than it did. But I actually did get a little bit of a pop when Biden came out today and said that he was going to do a study on rare earth minerals and national defense and stuff like that. So it did give me enough pop where I could exit. I was pretty upside down in the trade. So that was my first losing trade of the year. I just wanted to touch on that one.
That was your first losing trade of the year?
Yeah.
Wow.
I haven't
You must have a stellar track record, because I have losers and winners all the time.
Well, we have GIGM that's upside down.
Oh, I got you.
That one,
no question.
But I haven't. I try not to sell for losses unless it's like the end of the year and I need a tax, something like that. But I don't know.
Not me. Not me. I tend to look at the value of an account, and I'll put trades on. And if I'm winning and some things aren't making it what I want it to be, and they're not acting like, I'll cut my losers quickly and let my winners run. I tend to cut losers fairly fast, and I unusually like to buy on the way up. So I'll pyramid up when something's working in my favor. Mm-hmm. I even actually bought more of that QS on the way up. Hence, I bought at 62. I was a winner at 64. I had a little bit at 65, 66, 67, 68, 69. Boom, I was out. But it got to my level and I was gone. It doesn't always work that way, but pyramiding up for me, I like to buy if stocks have strong momentum and they pull back. I like to buy on those pullbacks and sell into that strength, that relative strength, pulling them back up.
Yeah.
As they're a favorite of the street, they're going to get people who want to add to them. That have a little FOMO. They're going to lift that stock back up, and then if that stock breaks to new highs intraday and closes at the high, then it's game on for me. I'll stay long.
Well, when I tend to be a little bit upside down in these positions, I practice pretty strict bankroll management. So only a small percentage of my portfolio is allocated to any specific trade. Where your style is a little bit more piley. You like to splash around there.
Oh, there's no question. In a $10 million account, I will have 4 positions worth $2 million a piece.
Right.
Yeah. So, and I'll trade a couple $100,000 in the other ones, right? So I'm with you there. It's a little bit different mentality in terms of, remember, when I hold something, I always look at it and say, I'm willing to buy this company at this price. That's why you see me end up filing a 13D, or if I think they're really undervalued.
Yeah.
I really want to get to the hearings. I saw a lot about that guy, the interactive broker guy, yesterday. Jason, I'm hoping you're going to really educate us on the hearings of what people are saying about Robinhood and all the stuff that took place.
Well, yeah, I was able to watch quite a bit of the hearings. We had, the players involved. Citadel's Kenneth Griffin. Citadel's like the largest market maker in the world. I didn't even realize that.
Of course they are.
I didn't know that. Deep Value, Keith Gill, or otherwise known as Roaring Kitty, I guess. Melvin Capital's guy was there. He's a young guy. Gabriel Plotkin, first shorted GameStop in 2014, according to him. And then, Steve Huffman was there from Reddit. And then we had a series of Congress persons, asking the questions. But those were the major players that were answering the questions. And one of the questions that I wanted to address was Alexander Mooney from West Virginia was asking about would a transaction tax of, say, 0.1%, would that help prevent manipulation and other fraud and stuff like that? I'm like, that was like pretty laughable to me, but that got shot down quickly. Like, I don't even how you can draw the conclusions for those things. That's like a Democrat asking for more money, basically.
You have some of the most liquid markets in the world, and you want to tax them now?
Yeah.
This is let me tell you the equivalency of this. This is like you run a business and you hire a bunch of salespeople, and you have a great product, and there's a salesperson that just does so well. They love it. They work really hard, and they're kicking butt, and they're making tons of sales. And management says, he's making or she's making too much. Let's cut their commissions. Let's de-incentivize the people that are doing well because they make too much. One time I heard Emily Chang on Bloomberg Technology, someone who I really like, say, she was talking about Airbnb, and should the owners of Airbnb homes be allowed to make that much? Be allowed to make that much? What the heck are people thinking about disincentivizing people? I don't know when they think this has ever worked.
Listen,
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
It's like you get into Congress and you take a brain, like you literally like take a stupid pill and you go backwards and say, well, now that I'm in Congress, you people that are making a lot of money and you people that are trading, we got to stop that. There's nothing good about you guys making money. There's nothing good about raising capital. There's nothing good about things being liquid. What the heck are you guys thinking? It doesn't even make any sense. I literally do not get, and by the way, the worst part of all this is, whether you believe what I'm saying or not, is the methodology for tracking the taxes, where you have to put in infrastructure to collect the fee. That creates just hundreds of thousands of more government jobs, much more auditing, much more labor, much more rules, in which you have to figure out what the taxes are.
The government bloat is already big enough, man. The government is in the way. Like, we need to get them out of the way. Someone like Elizabeth Warren, who wants to punish success, she's a big proponent of taxing, trades. I just don't understand it. Like, since when is success, such an evil thing? Like, I just don't know. That's how this country.
I don't want to be specific to Elizabeth Warren.
Well,
she listen.
She's
she
there.
thinks she's okay. Listen, I don't want to talk about Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren does what she thinks she needs to do to protect consumers. I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
I have no problem with consumer protection, and I'm sure she thinks she's doing the right thing. What I have a problem with is the demonization of Wall Street.
Right.
Let's demonize people that do that. Listen, if it wasn't for Wall Street, I wouldn't have raised capital and employ 180-some people around the country and some people overseas. Would not have been possible for that to happen without Wall Street. And people don't get that. They think it's like big business. Oh, you have money. It's just you got me on a tear. I sound like you now.
Well, the tax revenue too. I mean, you've got the self-employment tax. You've got all the other taxes from all the other people that are employed by you. I mean, it's not even just Wall Street. Like, it just goes as the country altogether. Like, I just don't agree.
People are making money. We better tax it.
Yeah.
And we better figure out a way to slow it down.
But when they send that money to Pakistan, or when they send that money to Pakistan,
we have the most envious markets in the world.
Yeah.
Markets with the most liquidity, the most efficiency. Are they perfect? They're not perfect. What Congress should be worried about is T+0. We should have same-day or next-day settlement. Not this nonsense going on with the NSCC. Not this nonsense where broker-dealers are stopping their clients from trading because there's not enough capital, even though they paid for the stock. Today, I could not sell a stock in my account, even though I paid for it in full more than a month ago, because of illiquidity charges at the broker-dealer. It's complete nonsense. It's the stupidest thing ever. I paid for a security. It's in the account. And because of 2-day settlement, the broker-dealer I was doing business with didn't have enough capital to cover the extra NSCC charges because the stock has so much volatility, and I own so much of it. But I already own the stock. Can you imagine them saying, hey, you can't sell your real estate this month because too many homes have been sold?
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's completely stupid.
It really is crazy.
Hey, what's the time look like, Jason? I'm sorry, we're ranting a little bit.
Yeah, I know. We got like 13 minutes left.
Got it.
So,
all right, let's get into Vlad. What happened with GameStop and all the people? Let's talk about what happened.
Well, they were asking, like, for example, they were given the background of Melvin Capital and what their positions were with GameStop, and they asked Deep Value Keith Gill about, what he thought the value of GameStop was and when he initially invested, which I believe was 2018. So they were just trying to figure out what both sides were seeing with the company and how, this entire squeeze took place. I think that Texas Representative Gonzalez asked a good question regarding the Citadel, if they had a conflict of interest because their heavily shorted position in GameStop and them being paying Robinhood for, for their market making and for their positioning with trades. So I thought that was a pretty good question. Vlad was questioned about his $35 billion. He declared there were $35 billion in profits by Robinhood traders, but I think the rate of return was questioned by Jim Himes, who's a congressperson. He kind of wanted to know what the ROI was on that. And Vlad really didn't have an answer for that one. And they were also talking about how I forget who it was, but they were calling retail dumb money. Jennifer Schlupp stood up for the retail traders, saying that they should strike that term. Dumb money is very derogatory. So there was a lot of back and forth regarding retail and Wall Street and how they wanted to paint retail as uneducated, people that were just not capable of making educational decisions, which is totally false. If any of them spent any time on Reddit, they would know.
I would say to you, I understand what the concern is there, because I'll tell you that I get retail comments from haters that when they speak to me about their hate and things they think happen, okay, let me not talk about the retail traders. Let me say it this way. My experience is people spend more time planning their vacation than they understand what they're doing when they invest in stocks.
Yeah.
Okay. And I see this because they write me things which I don't respond to because it's responding to a black hole where they simply don't have it right. They don't read the disclosures. They don't read the filings. They don't even, some of them, we're a holding company, some of them don't even know what we own when they buy the stock. Mm-hmm. And then they comment later on, why did you have that? Look what's happening here or there. I won't get into that part of it. So I can understand why people are concerned that they're kind of blindly trading.
Yeah.
Now, my 15-year-old son wants to trade, and I have lots of other friends that are normally like cooking, I don't know, good pasta meals that are suddenly wanting to trade on their phone. These are warning signs, but I love it, and I do encourage all of them to learn how to do it. I think it's great, self-empowering. There's a lot of opportunity out there. America is creating wonderful companies with wonderful opportunities. It's beyond recognition. I just think there's a lot of opportunity in biotech and new technology, and you got to let people be able to do that. And you got to be able to give them a platform to do it, and you can't shut them off from trading.
Yeah.
That part is terrible. And if they buy a stock that goes up to $500, that's got to be on them. I don't know why they want the government to protect everybody from themselves. Yeah. It's absurd.
I did know that there was some consensus in the situation regarding naked shorting and the utilization of securities, regarding one owner per share, stuff like that. And they asked how GME effectively had 140%, naked short selling. So they were looking at possibly some legislation for that. Now that's something that would be interesting to see because
that's T+1, T+0. Not shorting more than the floats available. Those are constructive ideas that politicians should get behind because they make logical sense that you can't sell more than your house you have. Why should you be able to oversell how much you can borrow? How can you, if there's float is 10 million shares, how can 20 million shares be short?
Yeah, just so people know, like on the retail side, you guys can opt out of that share sharing program. I know on Webull there's a little box you can check to opt out of that. So if you don't loan out your shares, they can't have them unless you're on margin. If it's a cash account, you're okay. But
people need to understand that if your shares are held to a broker dealer, there's a good chance they're lending them out, and they're making money on loans to shorters to be able to short that stock, and they're borrowing your stock. You just don't know it.
Yep.
It's hypothecated. I do it all the time.
Yep. So what do you think about this? I mean, it is kind of a casino. They were talking about that a little bit. The small cap world can be deemed a casino. Like, let me.
Hey! It's the first bull market in small cap I've seen in years.
Yeah.
In years.
Yeah, but
if you start looking, Tesla, they're not up much for the year. They might even be down. Facebook barely up, maybe down a little bit. Netflix is barely up. some of the big cap names aren't moving this year so far. The play's been in small cap.
It is true, especially with the low float small cap stuff. But I was just trying to draw a conclusion, like when they talked about trying to legislate your money and tell you what you should buy with your already taxed money. Let's face it, these people are working 9-to-5 jobs. They're paying taxes already on their income, and then they want to take their money and invest a little bit in some of these apps. So they want to tell you what to do with your money that's already been taxed, and they're already wasting your money to some extent. So I just think, like, it's just, I don't know. Like, I would look at it this way.
Hey, listen, let's not get back on the gender studies.
That's
in
fine.
Afghanistan are important, and you need to be supportive of all the basket weaving that's taking place wherever they invest. Whatever, I'm being smart.
Yeah, well.
Hey, Jason, while we prepare to wrap up here, what about your trades for tomorrow? What are you thinking about that's risk on? What are you looking at?
To be honest, I didn't really look at anything except for the bloodbath and the crypto tickers. So that's where I'll be keying. I'll definitely be looking at Riot, Mara, BT. I want to look at this NXT, and also want to take a look at Tilray. You know what? Let me look at Tilray real quick. Brett, pull that. I got it up on the screen here. 28.62. That's interesting. So, actually, no, take that back. $27.10.
I'm long Palantir, PLTR. It's a trade. I'm long RIDE, RIDE. That has pulled back. It has a $4 billion market cap. A really exciting new truck coming out in the EV space. It's pulled back nicely. I'm long that stock. I'm still long SSNT as I filed on a 13D. Those are the main things that I'm long right now.
You filed NTN also, right?
Okay. So, yes, I filed the 13D on NTN, and I issued a press release today in TN Buzz Time. But I can't comment on that stock at all and won't. But just read the press release if you'd like to. That's public record.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, sometimes, the lawyers will mute you. What's the word? They'll muzzle you.
They will. Like the masks that we have for a year now. When are we going to get rid of those?
I'm muzzled, my friend. Don't get me in trouble.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm totally with you.
I did buy a little QS in the aftermarket at 62. So I'm long a little QS, QuantumScape. But nothing earth-shattering. I'm long a little Riot. That's actually up for me. I bought Riot down 15 and added it to it in the aftermarket a little bit. I think things will I'm almost exhausted. I got to catch my breath with how much volume there's been, how much volatility there's been.
Yeah.
This this drone stock that went from 126 to 41 intraday, and I traded it back to 74. I bought back today at 60 right now in the aftermarket. I'm long a little bit. Buyer beware there. That's a very scary stock. Please do your homework. Yeah. Do your own research. Don't listen to Jason and I just because we're trading them. We're talking about risk on is about what kind of risk we're taking. We're going to continue show after show to talk about different risks. We're not always going to talk about stocks. We'll be talking about real estate soon, multifamily housing. We're going to be talking about poker, hopefully some more poker in the world. I know Jason has made a living at poker.
Yeah, we're going to talk about
those of you. For those of you who are envious of poker players and their poker player lifestyle, Jason not only has a beautiful wife, but a little pretty dog, and plays poker whenever he damn well pleases, right, Jason?
Yeah, I've got some beasts in my where I live here. There's some players that are monsters that live in my building. Maybe I'll try to get a couple of them on our show.
I think that'd be a great idea. I told everyone I was going to cover Bitcoin, so let me not screw this up. So I'm going to translate this a little bit. So in Venezuela, there's an order of what crypto is used in terms of currency. So let me get this right. Richie, let's start. You're in the background. No one can see or hear you. The number one currency used in Venezuela is what?
U.S. dollar.
The U.S. dollar. The number 2 currency used in Venezuela is what? Bitcoin. The number 3 is their fiat currency, right?
I think it might even be their own cryptocurrency.
Their own cryptocurrency, right.
Backed by oil, and then I think the domestic.
So it was being explained to me that in certain countries, besides the U.S. dollar, which is the standard currency that people would rather take because their own dollars, like in Venezuela, are out of control inflation, not worth much money.
They're making hats out of them.
They're what?
They were making hats out of their fiat. I was watching a video. They're like making necklaces and it's crazy stuff.
Right. So you got U.S. dollar is the top thing to take, right? You know, petrodollar. And then you have Bitcoin. Now, we need to digest the fact that the world's third world economies, or economies with hyperinflation, people are getting paid in Bitcoin. Hey guys, so to understand that the world third world economy is not third world completely, but Argentina, it's happening in Venezuela. And so in the US, it's a store of value. But for other people around the world, it's a store of value and they use it to pay for things. And that is something that, when I was hearing the statistics, is remarkable. It's really important to understand that this part blew my mind. In certain countries, the beggars that are begging for money have a phone, and you can just tap it and give them Bitcoin if you want to give them a little Bitcoin to help out the beggars or panhandlers or whatever the proper PC name is that someone will slap me with today. Don't call them beggars, call them the unemployed few that have no job, whatever you call them. I don't know. Jason, what do you call beggars?
I'm not sure. Future employees.
Future employees. That's right.
Yeah.
They're getting paid. They're in certain countries, they're getting paid in Bitcoin. And people in other countries are shying from their own currency. Now, for some of you smart people, you already know this. And I knew it, but I didn't understand the depth of it until a pretty smart banker pointed out to me that this is happening only number 2 to the US dollar. And I think that is very important. There's only 21 million Bitcoin ever going to be mined.
Yeah.
Ever going to be out there. And people are using it for everyday currency.
You know what the market cap is of Bitcoin?
What's the market cap of Bitcoin, Richie?
971 billion, almost $1 trillion.
Almost $1 trillion market cap in Bitcoin, 971 billion. It's got a ways to go. Tim Draper, many other people think it's going to 250,000. I think it's going to 1 million. What kind of time do we have left, Jason?
We got 3 seconds.
Jason, give us your wrap up, and then I'll call it a day.
Well, tomorrow I'm going to be looking at the Fridays, typically low volume. There'll be some more cheapies, some sell-offs, hopefully. So I'll be looking to scoop up some equities, some certain tickers in crypto at the end of the day tomorrow. I'll look at the silver and gold market. I got an idea that I want to tell the listeners and you. Maybe we'll talk about it tomorrow. It's a big idea. I told the producer about it.
Let's do that. Hey, it's Todd Ault. It's February 18th. Special thanks to Richie, who can't use his last name because he's a regulated guy, for chiming in on Bitcoin in Venezuela and Argentina. Skyla, Brett, Josh, great day today. Jason, fun day today. Good trading today. I'm launching some QuantumScape. Do your own research. It's February 18th. This is the 13th episode of Risk On. Hey, I'm in New York City. It's snowing right now, but I'm flying home on Saturday. One more show from New York City tomorrow. Jason, we'll see you tomorrow.